Hey guys, welcome to Huds Up. I'm Simon Lell, and tonight I'm joined by Neil Dutton.
Hello.
We are brought to you by What Happens in Gaming, which is now a website, whathappensinggaming.com. We launched this past week, and Neil's going to fill us in a little bit about that and what we aim to do with the website and what's on there just now.
Yeah, so what happens in gaming.com, we're wanting to build a community for the gamers to go to. We're going to have forums, news, features. There's a section on esports as well. And there's also going to be online gambling information as well, betting sort of thing. So if you wanted to take a bet on esports, you can. It's entirely up to you. We've got various different affiliations. Not trying to sell it, just saying it's there. But yeah, we're looking at the sort of competitive side to esports is probably the way to put it as well, Simon. We've got quite a lot of content on there already. We've got quite a lot of people asking questions in the forums. Like there's one about what was your first gaming experience. Mine was like a Dragon 32. I said in my article, but then I remembered it was a Binatone with the little paddles playing Pong in the early 80s. So that says how old I am. And I've been gaming since then. So anyway, that's the website, whathappensinggaming.com. You're welcome to come along and have a look.
Yeah, I think it's going to grow. There's going to be a lot of content coming via the YouTube channel as well, and we're going to try and do different shows as well as Huds Up. We're going to be maybe breaking out into the different consoles, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation. Um, why am I'm feeling like there's a fourth one there, but a PC. Sorry, whoops, sorry, PC. So we're going to be breaking out, maybe trying to do shows on each of those. Doing news specifically for those formats, as well as other kind of novelty shows and kind of fun things like that. As we kind of ramp up, hopefully also as well we've discussed we're going to try and maybe do the podcasts in the same area and in the one room, which will be fun, and film that and get that up on YouTube.
I'm looking forward to doing some unboxings and things like that as well.
Yeah.
We've got potentially the Persona 5 thing coming up and a few other things. But on top of that, we're going to have other things, as you say, coming along, and we've put a bit about movies, TV, and books in there as
Yeah.
well, because there's a real link between sort of movies and games and books. I mean, straight away, you've got things like the Guardian of the Galaxy game coming out and things.
That's it exactly. Yeah, I mean, to segue, well done, Neil, into some news. So yeah, the trailer for the Guardians of the Galaxy game from Telltale came out. What did you think of that then?
I think it looks interesting. I really liked The Wolf Among Us. I enjoyed the first Walking Dead series. Didn't really enjoy the Back to the Future one
Okay.
before that, and the Game of Thrones ones. Although I've started to watch Game of Thrones. I'm now in season 6. I've been binge watching. I finally got convinced to start watching it. Okay, I kind of get it now. I understand why people are talking about it. All the memes on the internet make sense now as
Yeah.
well. Had absolutely no idea what the whole, Hodor and stuff like that was. So it all makes sense now. However, Guardians of the Galaxy, the very first trailer with the Walkman spinning through the air,
Hmm.
spinning through space, sorry, and playing music from the 80s and things. And then on top of that, the game itself it looks nice, it looks polished. I'll be keen to see how it develops. The story might be, just
Mm.
where will the story sit in the universe that they're building, or they've already got, and they're building it again
Hmm.
on the big screen with it.
Yeah, I mean, like my history with Telltale games has been I've played quite a bit of Walking Dead season one. Still haven't finished it yet. I always mean to go back to it, but I made the mistake of buying season one and two in the 400 days or whatever the in between part all at the one time. So it kind of suddenly felt like this massive task to try and get through everything. I've started the Batman series as well, which I've really enjoyed. The first episode of that. I wasn't too hot in this trailer. I don't know. It felt like it was aping the films too much, or the tone of the film, which that's obviously what they're going for. But I don't know. There was just something. I mean, the trailers for those films are so epic and on point that I feel like it just felt like a kind of a pale reflection of the films. But I mean, they've got the 80s music in there, and the tone of the characters feels right. So I'll wait and see. But I don't know. I don't know if this is one I'll be jumping into. I don't
Really?
know. I don't know. It's just I mean I loved the film and the first film and stuff. I wouldn't say it was my favorite Marvel film, but some people might. But
Don't read my forum post, folks.
um, some people might. But I mean that's fair enough. But I don't know. There's something about it just didn't sit well with me. It just felt too kind of manufactured to feel like those films. Whereas and the fact that it's not in the MCU kind of bugs me. Then if it is in the MCU, fair enough, it should feel like those films. But the way it is, kind of standalone and out with that, it feels like they should have maybe leaned more into how it was in the comics. But that wouldn't sell to the fans. So that's the thing they're going for. The story wise, the way they're introducing like Thanos and things like that, it seems a bit. It feels like is this guy going to get too much exposure before we see him on the live action film? That feels like it might be kind of hedging their bets a little bit with that, but we'll wait and see. We'll hold our judgment until the reviews come out and people start playing it. I'm sure Telltale they haven't made too much of a wrong turn since like the Back to the Future games, you say so.
Yeah, I mean, April the 18th, we'll find out. I'll pre-order it, and well, might not pre-order it, I'll buy it on the day. I'll play it on PC, just to be part of the master race since we messed up the PC thing earlier. But yeah, PC is probably how I will play it, to be perfectly honest. If it had been on Switch, sound like a total Nintendo fanboy. Switch is the first console I've had from Wii, first serious one from N6 and N64. But they've still not got a date for the Switch. I think it's out on Android and iOS as well at the same time, if I remember correctly. So it's on everything bar Switch. But you can understand because Switch has just come out that there wasn't probably a big enough push or access to be able to create that. Yeah, so looking forward to that. But the Switch the Switch would be good to play that on the go, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on from one space adventure to another, and a galaxy far, far away. So EA are kind of teasing the reveal of Battlefront 2. This is a game that I really went heavily into. I actually bought it on both Xbox and PS4 just so I could play it with two different sets of friends. So I get really heavily into it. And even though there was no campaign in this game, I still really enjoyed it and thought it looked fantastic. And it was perfectly Star Wars. That's great, Neil. That's great. It sounded like Star Wars, looked like Star Wars. Everything. It was just fun. It's a game that I've actually rediscovered recently. I eventually bought the season pass. It was on sale, and I think after Rogue One, I had a bit of a fever about about it, and the space battles, which finally kind of came to the game. So I'm eager to see what they're going to give us next. I don't know where they can go. I don't feel they're going to touch the prequels. I don't think they're going to do that because they kind of seem to be, distancing themselves from episode 1, 2, and 3 quite a bit. With the kind of feel and tone of the most recent films and the kind of media surrounding it. But there was so much, areas, maps and things like that were we had Hoth, we had Tatooine, we had Jabba's Palace, the Cloud City. So I don't know what they're going to give us more, but obviously the campaign is going to be a big thing for people who love that game and were wanting that in the first one.
Yeah. So the last Star Wars game I played was the original Star Wars Battlefront, but the last one that I really, really enjoyed was I think it was called Star Wars 64 on the Nintendo 64. That was an incredible game. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fact that I had a campaign, and that was why I didn't buy Star Wars Battlefront. It looks great, but just wave attacks and player versus player sort of environments, it just didn't have a ring to it for me that made me want to go out and buy it. But this one's obviously got the campaign. They've only been working on it for maybe a year and a half. Maybe they've probably had it in the pipeline before the original Star Wars Battlefront new one came out. But it'll be interesting to see how the campaign works out, because I would actually really like an in-depth campaign. And you're right, yeah. What story do you use for that? Because I believe in Star Wars Battlefront they had, I've seen they had all the main characters in it. They had Darth Vader and Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker. Hasten to add, I am terrible with names. Someone asked me the other day there about Grand Theft Auto 5, which I've now completed twice, and I've put over 100 hours into it. They asked me what the name of the characters were, and I don't know. I think it's Fred, Ian, and James I'm going to go with, because I don't know, right? But if you ask me what the Star Trek characters are, I'll get it. But yes, Star Wars will struggle beyond the sort of main people when you get down to R2-D2 and stuff like that. But the game itself, it does if it's going to have the campaign in it, I probably will buy it this time round so I can sit and play the campaign. As much as I like playing games online, sometimes you just want to sit and play and do your own thing. So fingers crossed, basically.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I don't want to labour the point too much on Battlefront. Just one more thing I was going to say was, I said I got really heavy into this game, and it was mostly for the. I thought it was going to be the kind of Battlefield-esque first-person shooter game, but it was really more the X-wing versus TIE fighter, flight sim, as it were. That was the game that I kind of found myself wanting and playing most of. I found the actual first-person shooting stuff not as solid as the Battlefield, gameplay. So that's the thing. So maybe we'll see that get tightened up. But then maybe that was intentional to space it from Battlefield and make it feel more like Battlefront, the original. Mm-hmm. Moving from one first-person shooter-esque game to another, I believe you had a chance to try out the Splatoon Global Test Fire. Moving back to Nintendo, you big fanboy.
The Splatoon was the entire reason I almost bought a Wii U, and then all of a sudden the NX Switch was announced, and that's in one of the articles on the website as well about that. Splatoon 2, yeah, finally played it on the Switch in the Global Test Fire. I took part in, I only missed one of the events, one of the actual test fires. Really good fun. I think there needs to be some balancing of the characters, because some of the characters seemed a little bit overpowered, or I was really bad. Could have been that I was really bad at it. For example, I couldn't figure out how to fly one of the characters. They seem to be able to do these super jumps, and I read the instruction. It was like the paint becomes a sort of jetpack, like spray cans, basically. Okay. Spray paint,
like sort of Mario Sunshine kind of thing.
I never played Mario Sunshine, so not a fanboy.
It was a water backpack. I never had a GameCube. Sorry, like my little brother had one.
so that entire the hours that I played with it were really good. There were times where people connected and disconnected, so I was ended up a couple of times like me against 5 other people, never going to win. But it was really good fun, and it made me think, yeah, this is why I've pre-ordered it, and it's why I wanted to get a Nintendo, a Wii U. Back when Splatoon originally came out, it was like Jim Sterling and Angry Joe and people like that were talking about it, and it just really made me want to get into it. And I didn't, but now I can, because Splatoon 2 is coming out. So great fun. Really enjoyed it. The weapons were fun. I didn't realize people thought that the DJ bit at the start was the way you could manipulate the DJ, sort of the sound effect at the start, that's the song when you're waiting on the loading screens. I didn't realize people thought that was an Easter egg.
Oh.
I just started playing with it automatically, because that's something we used to have in games quite a lot, where you could sort of manipulate backgrounds and things, and all sorts of stuff. You could do sort of things like that. But people started posting it as big news and making it their sort of main news on the test fire, and I thought, no, it's maybe not the main news you want to lead with. So we don't have it on our news for Splatoon test fire, but it was great fun. Yeah. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Looking forward to it.
I mean, I logged in. I think I got it Saturday. It was like there was a one between 11 and 12. I need to say this actually. Like, what the hell, Nintendo? I mean, like, just give us like a couple of days beta. Just do it, and then announce, like, you can do stress testing within that without just focusing on, like, what was it, 4 hours or 4 or 5 hours we had over like 3 days. Because I didn't have a lot of time. I literally logged in at like 20 to 12. So like, I logged in and I had it in handheld mode. And I mean, I might be missing something completely. I've never played Splatoon, but do you have to use the gyro motion to aim like that?
No, you could turn that off.
Right. Okay. So
the very first thing I did was turn that off.
Right. Okay. So I tried playing it for a little bit of that, and I'd heard someone speak about it anecdotally before, and said that was something you kind of needed to use, as in, like, as for an advantage. It was like, oh, you need to be using this or whatever. And so like I didn't even think twice about it. I just thought like, I was using the motion, and I couldn't deal with that. Like my first person, or my shooters, I don't really like that at all. So I played a bit of it, and then as I say, I was very late in the game to get on, and it kind of ended, and I didn't get another chance. But I mean, very colourful, ran really well. And I really like I mean, again, this is old news to people who have played Splatoon before, but the way you reload your paint, is really cool. But you're actually using your ammo to, your where you've shot to reload your paint tank, which is really cool. But no, I'm interested to see more of it. Hopefully they'll maybe bid some sort of demo or something like that once it launches. I don't know if I'll be diving straight in or not, but yeah, I think it'd be really fun if we could even get some of us online or whatever at the same time, and if we can get that old Nintendo Party chat app once it launches going. But yeah, anything else you want to say about Splatoon? Sorry, no.
I don't think so.
No.
Just something looking forward to. I can't
Yeah.
wait for the date. I think someone was saying that it was going to be in the summer, but there isn't actually a date
Yeah, I
for
don't
it
think
yet.
there's a date
Properly,
yet.
is there?
I don't think there's that in
Interesting.
ARMS. I don't think has a date yet, but
Yeah.
no, that's looking good. So moving from, I'm doing good with these segues. Moving from something that runs well and looks good, even in its kind of beta stage, we moved to something that has been released and is getting a hell of a lot of flack for being buggy and running rubbish, or having at least weird animations. Mass Effect Andromeda. Have you bought it? I remember us having a discussion on this podcast about Mass Effect Andromeda, and you've probably bought it, eh?
No,
Oh,
I haven't.
no.
And I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. And I had the N7 special edition of Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. I got the bit that had Commander Shepard and it had the armor and everything in it. I played them all. And this time I thought it's not got Commander Shepard, so I'm going to wait and see what the reviews are like and what the sort of background is. And I was still on the fence up until that week before. We ran an article on the website and put it on Facebook as well, where we kind of talked about how there was a lot of glitches and things like that in it. And then I watched some of the YouTube videos, and you're watching people's heads sort of turn around a bit like The Exorcist,
Oh man, yeah.
or they were leaning forward and their head would go upside down, right? And you thought, this is just insane. Other things, just people glitching out and having conversations while stood in space, being able to walk out of the spaceship and things like that. If it's not got the Normandy and Shepard, it has to be a damn good game, and it doesn't have that either by the looks of it. Okay, sorry, people are saying it's a good game, but it's got these glitches in it, and it breaks the immersion. The whole idea of Mass Effect is the immersion. It's the role-playing element. I don't like that they've taken the Paragon stuff out either. That kind of put me off it, because I really like the idea of being good. I always try to be bad, but then I can't, because there's always a point where you've got something where it's like, that sprite has a family.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been seeing that. I haven't played it myself. I don't know what by it. I kind of said that before, but I mean, I've seen a lot of the coverage on it, and as you say, yes, I mean, like NPCs you're talking to, they go to walk away from you, and their head just does a swivel, and it's not like a nice swivel, or is there a nice swivel? But it's actually like their neck is bent like a snake's neck, right? It's pretty out there, and some of the idle animations when you're waiting for conversations even just look kind of janky. And I mean, I've seen a lot of comparison shots of even the character models from Andromeda compared to the first Mass Effect, and it's kind of strange. A lot of these memes are like, this is when was it, 2007 Mass Effect? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, this is 2007. This is 2017. And it's kind of crazy. I saw one YouTube video, and it was actually showing the character models before the day one patch and then after, and they've actually made they haven't really done anything with the male. Is it Ryder? I think it is the character. They haven't really done anything with his model, but for the female version, they've kind of made her look kind of weird looking, where before she looked like a regular, as you would see in any other video game, fairly attractive, looking person. They've kind of made her look kind of goofy a bit, and this guy was theorizing that it's kind of been done kind of intentionally, as a kind of reaction to, I don't know, whatever kind of thing, like people saying about women in video games and things like that. But he was pointing out that they haven't. There's models that the characters are based after in real life, and the male character looks kind of like his model, whereas the female character looks nothing like the model anymore. So after the day one patch, and that seems to carry over to some of the NPCs as well. I don't know, specifically the eyes look dead to me. I don't know. That's something.
Yeah, dead, glassy and dead. They look worse than a Muppet's eyes. In fact, Muppets look like they've got a better range of emotion than a character from Mass Effect has, and that's a scary thing. That's a sad thing, because there were elements in Mass Effect 2 specifically. I can remember where you had the news reporter who was who wanted to interview you and was rude, and you were horrible to her. And at least there was emotion in there, and that was PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Oh, and PC, because I had it on both because I'm stupid and have multiple copies of games on different things, like Grand Theft Auto, and I've bought Grand Theft Auto and Skyrim so many times it's ridiculous. But in that instance, I thought that they looked dead. Soulless.
It was very good. Yeah, it was really strange when you see it, and you look at it and you think that looks odd, and then you see it compared to something from even this year. Like we don't have to go 10 years ago. You can look at something like I don't know, even the main characters in Horizon. There's been a lot said about some of the NPCs and their facial animations, but they don't look like it's dead-eyed. Like Uncharted 4, like that. There was times in that game I had to watch again because I thought it looked like too real. It was like beyond the uncanny valley. I wasn't at that uncomfortable stage. I was into this looks like real life now. So it's kind of really unacceptable. And I've heard there's a lot of kind of bugs as well, like people being killed during conversation cutscenes, and NPCs, like your party members spawning in random places, like just out of thin air. Really immersion breaking things.
Yeah, I've seen it with the people they've been spawned in midair or spawn on top of your head, and then they're stuck on top of your head. There's another one where I've seen where your character, the running animation's lost completely, so they just kind of hover forward. The best one, the most terrifying one actually I've seen is probably I can't remember the name of the characters, but the character Ryder, is talking to someone. They're in a med bay. There's someone lying on a bed, dead or injured, and there's a doctor, a human doctor, standing to the side. And as you move, they then move as if they're going to come and talk to you. But what they do is, in some sort of, remember that horrible Will Smith I Am Legend film that came out that totally destroyed the Richard Matheson books, which you have to read the book. Don't watch the Will Smith or the Omega Man or the one before that. Just don't read the book. The book's fantastic. Anyway, in that movie, the vampires or the weird zombie things that they turned them into move really funnily. They're very sort of janky, and they climb up walls and things like that in a sort of horror-esque style. It's like something you see out of something like Paranormal and things like that as well, where the kid, is it Paranormal where the kid climbs up the wall, or am I thinking of Sinister or something?
I'm not sure.
But this is a very long story to say. The doctor's standing there, and all of a sudden she climbs in a horrible way up the side of the bed, up through the ceiling, and disappears through the ceiling. You think, I think it was Game Ranks on the video. So a little bit of a plug for Game Ranks. Go to Game Ranks, go to their YouTube channel, and watch their videos that they do. And it's videos people have sent in, and you have to see it because it's got everything from the spinning Marauders, or are they called? I can't remember the name of them now. The vehicles that you drive on the planets that you had in one. You were able to drive about in Mass Effect 1. And they spin it around on ice, and then all of a sudden it just goes pew, and shoots off into space because it spins round and round and round really quicker, and thump.
Yeah.
Basic stuff.
Yeah.
Basic stuff.
Some of these sound like things you used to be able to unlock via cheat codes, like zero gravity mode or something like that. But that sounds horrific, the Doctor. That I think I might have just turned it off and went to bed and cuddle my pillow if that was the case.
It's definitely a horror movie moment. You have to see it. In fact, I'm going to find it and I'm going to send it to you afterwards. But yeah, Game Ranks ran it, and they had lots of them that were just crazy.
It's kind of a shame. I mean, and people have mentioned that like the Mass Effect name was already solid after the reaction to the ending of 3. But I think people still had a lot of faith in in the brand and in the company. And I know it's a different team and stuff like that, but they're still under the BioWare house and stuff. So it seems it's not good enough. It's a shame, and I think it's what they do next potentially makes or breaks this IP. If they can release something that fixes these bugs and does something with the animations and things like that, fair enough. But I think it feels kind of now that it could sink Mass Effect.
It could, but then sales say otherwise, because sales, it's number one in the charts. Maybe that'll drop off. Maybe people ask for refunds. But it pushed Ghost Recon Wildlands down to second place. So it's certainly in terms of sales, it still had the impact that they wanted from it. So maybe they'll get the chance to fix it in a second one. But then, like you say, is it the damage done? Will people revisit it? Assassin's Creed is an ideal example of a game that was kind of, but the second one was really good. And from what I've heard, was it Syndicate was a bad one, and then the last one they had in London was really good.
Unity,
can't remember.
Was the
Unity,
bad one.
Yeah,
that was a bad one. Yeah, that was the one that had a lot of the bugs in the the skin.
Yeah, the face,
the
skin being ripped off. Yeah. And the thing about that is that ruined the game for me, because Black Flag was such a good game, and then I didn't go back for Syndicate. I left it, let it be, and I probably won't go back to the other one that's coming this year.
And a game that was a franchise, that was yearly, has now taken a break there, for the year, because of poor sales, I think, of Syndicate, which by all accounts was a much better game, than people expected. So it is a shame, but I don't know.
I should add, I don't like yearly remakes.
I'm the same.
Iterations of games.
Yeah.
I prefer it was a couple of years. I like what Rockstar do. And what Naughty Dog and people like that do, and Bethesda do. The reason Bethesda do open world so well is they take such a long time to craft these things. And you've got to go and save another settlement for Preston. You could argue things like David Cage has long gaps between his games, and Beyond Two Souls was terrible. The first part of Fahrenheit, I'm getting the name right, aren't I? Was good.
It was
Heavy Rain, and then it became Simon. No, not you, but the game Simon, where you press the colour. And but then Heavy Rain was, bits of that were hit and miss, but it was still great. You got to Jason all the time. Jason as much as you want, just Jason. Hit that X button so many times, just Jason constantly. And then Beyond Two Souls came out, so it looks like Detroit will get a bit of a rough ride. It's Detroit, isn't it? The new one that's coming out by him. I
think it's Detroit Almost Human, I think it is.
So that's probably going to get a rough ride because of Beyond Two Souls. And Mass Effect Andromeda, because it's coming out, it'll probably make the sequel come out next year.
Yeah. Do you think so?
Gaps, maybe. Do
you think so?
Well, you never know. BioWare's under a lot more pressure now because of being owned by Microsoft, aren't they? So is it Microsoft? EA, sorry. I'm thinking of Lionhead Studios because I wrote an article about the movies. So EA have been closing down the studios that they've snapped up, and true. BioWare were on the chopping block.
I mean, that's true. The only thing I would say is that the main team the team that worked on the other Mass Effect games is apparently unveiling a new IP. E3, they're working on something new, so I think that might keep them afloat in time to give the other team, some time to work on the next Mass Effect game, whatever that may be. But I don't know. I mean, the way that BioWare reacted to the ending of Mass Effect 3, I could see them, working the damnedest to get something out that fixes these problems for people. Again, it's not, people seem to be liking the story fairly well. I mean, they say that the first few hours is a bit rough, not that well written, but once it opens up, it is really good. So I think people could, it's not unlike the Mass Effect 3 where it was a narrative issue they had with the ending. I think that part of it seems to be doing okay for people. So if they can just fix it so that people's gameplay is at least a pleasurable experience, then I think they could save it. I think they could. It might be something we revisit in 6 months or something like that, and where they've kind of turned it around. I kind of hope they do, because I mean it's a thing that people really get excited about. I mean, people still talk about replaying Mass Effect or even the Mass Effect trilogy, you know, like over and over every year. So it's kind of one of those games like Knights of the Old Republic or something like that, which again BioWare made as well. So it has the potential. I think they could bring it back, but they need to do something. Is what I think.
I think they unfortunately need to do something really big to bring it back. Replayability wise, I would only say 2 and 3 were worth the replayability because you don't have to drive the
what's
vehicle
it called?
around.
I can't remember what the name.
I keep forgetting its name is. But I don't have. I can't remember the names of key characters in games and movies and things like that. So I'm not going to remember the name of a vehicle that you use. I remember the Normandy, obviously, because it's a character. It's not just a spaceship.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I think we've spoke about everything we wanted to chat about tonight. As we were saying earlier on, remember to visit whathappensinggaming.com, or you can go to the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/WHI Gaming. You'll find the links to the website and our articles and these videos on there. You can also check us out on Twitter, which is at WHI Gaming. Anything I've missed where people can find us? So be sure to go to the forums if and check out the topics there. Start your own topics. We're pretty friendly. We'll try and chip in with our opinions without getting nasty, hopefully, and keep it nice and jovial. But yeah, so check us out there. Anything else, Neil, you want to chat about?
Don't think so.
No. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Hopefully, it won't be as long next time. All right. Bye.